25,000 men and women work for the UK Border Agency. At home and abroad, their job is to seek out the lawbreakers and imposters who don't have a right to be here. They are the UK Border Force. Tonight, unearthing Britain's biggest ever immigration scam.
No, I don't want you talking. You've been arrested. Come with me upstairs, now.
At Heathrow, the passenger looking for more than just entry to Britain.
Please give me justice. I am a real student. I am a hard worker.
Sir, justice is a big word.
And tracking down the Indian holidaymakers who never went home.
When did you come to the UK? 4 years ago. So your 6-month visit visa is well expired.
Has been expired.
Well expired.
People all over the world want to live and work in Britain. In 2008, 180,000 people applied for UK work visas. There are plenty of businesses that offer advice to those hoping to be among the lucky ones. Not all of them play by the rules.
Mornings, police. Can you come and open the door, please?
The UK Border Agency and the police have joined forces to combat companies putting in fraudulent applications to the Home Office. This morning in West London, a team led by DC Andy Cornwell are planning a dawn raid. They are targeting a company owned by an Indian national called Jatinder Sharma.
At the beginning, the intelligence was passed to us, and it suggested a chap called Jatinder Sharma was supplying counterfeit educational documents to the Home Office to enable...
The team believes Sharma is married to 2 women, Neelam and Raki.
Overview of what's happening.
And that all 3 run a visa racket that has given thousands of people access to Britain who shouldn't be here.
Police officers, I have a warrant to search this premises. Can you come in, please? Yes, he upstairs, is he? Right, I'll come up with you then. Hello there, sir. Are you Mr. Sharma? So if you come downstairs with us, I shall explain everything to you.
Sorry.
Sharma is a trained solicitor whose previous clients include the hook-handed Muslim cleric Abu Hamza. The officers want to contain Sharma and his wives so they can't destroy incriminating evidence.
I've got a warrant to search this address for forged and counterfeit educational documents, and also any articles that may be used to manufacture those documents. Okay, do you understand that? Right. Come and have a seat, madam.
What is it?
What is your name?
Raki.
Raki, have a seat in that chair for us, please.
DC Cornwell has something else on Sharma and his wives. He suspects they've used deception to stay in the country.
But my colleague's got something that he needs to say to each of you first.
You're going to be arrested, okay, on suspicion of obtaining leave by deception.
Me?
Yeah. Do not say anything about harm offensive. Do not mention when questioned so they say behind court.
In fact, yeah, Junior, this is Neelam.
Neelam, we've had info that you've been assisting a non-EU citizen to remain in the UK.
Neelam is suspected of endorsing Raki's fraudulent application to stay in Britain.
Also, you do not have to say anything about harming defensive. Do not mention when questioned so later in court.
Raki is here on a work visa, but has never worked where she's supposed to.
Raki, you should not be in the UK. You're under arrest for obtaining leave by deception.
Right, can you come with me then upstairs? Can you come with me upstairs? No, I don't want you talking. You've been arrested.
With Sharma and his 2 wives under arrest for immigration offences, the team look for evidence that they're behind the bigger crime of running a fake visa factory.
Do you have any documents in this building, Mr. Sharma, in this house that you shouldn't have?
Please feel free to,
Where?
because I don't do any kind of deception,
Wait.
sir.
So far we've found bank statements showing large deposits. We've also got various, what appears to be Indian certificates and blank letterheads. And we've also got a stamp and an ink pad for the Smile Dental Clinic. A bit tricky to read backwards, but it's Bangalore.
If the certificates and the stamps are counterfeit, it could go some way to enabling unqualified people to work fraudulently as dentists in Britain. And while there's evidence they're moving large sums of money around the world, it seems Sharma likes to keep it in the family.
And Mr. P. Sharma, that's your younger son. So your younger son is 8.
What is this?
And he owes money. His bank account's in arrears. That makes no sense.
Is it an offence?
Sorry?
Is it a crime?
Well, it depends who's using or who P. Sharma is.
After 2 hours of searching, the officers have found £6,000 in cash, details of bank deposits totaling hundreds of thousands of pounds, and suspected fake certificates. Now, tucked away in one of the bedrooms is perhaps the most revealing find so far.
What we found here in the bedroom is a carrier bag which contains a vast quantity of stamps, different stamps and stamp making machines. It may well be used in the to facilitate defrauding the Home Office with qualifications that maybe haven't been attained by the relevant person using them.
The raid has thrown up plenty of questions to put to Mr. Sharma and his 2 wives. And that's after only searching their home. Now the team have their sights on their business address.
What you've got here is people who are abusing the privilege of living in the UK, and that's what we're hoping to prove today in relation to these individuals.
Marvellous. See you back at Southall.
Excellent.
Coming up,
Okay,
no option but to release repeat offenders who play the system.
off you go. Don't come back here. You're not permitted to work. Okay, off you go.
And homing in on the Sharma's business leads to damning evidence.
He's not studied anywhere. He needs international graduate students, so we have to show some course.
That's fantastic.
That is the killer, isn't it?
It's estimated there are over 1 million illegal immigrants living in Britain. Many choose Britain because they believe it's a soft touch. They know the scams to stay on illegally and avoid deportation. The UK Border Agency has 38 enforcement bases whose job it is to track these people down. Today, a team in Glasgow are carrying out a raid on the Royal India restaurant in one of the city's most affluent areas. They have intelligence the restaurant is employing illegal workers.
Hi there, from Immigration, if you just see my colleague there. Hi there, guys. From Immigration, you want to put everything down for us, please? Make your way out here. Make your way out. Go there.
The team find 5 workers and the owner of the restaurant. An employer must make checks on his staff to ensure they are allowed to work in the UK. He can be fined up to £10,000 for each illegal worker found on his premises.
Now, once I find out what's happening with my colleagues in relation to their questioning, then I'll sit and have a wee chat with you and we'll establish if they were working here or not, okay?
First to be questioned about his immigration status is the waiter.
What nationality are you, Sharon? Indian. Do you have a passport?
I don't have any
You
passport.
don't have a passport. How did you get into the country without a passport?
I came and I lost my passport.
You came and you lost your passport. When did you come to the UK?
4 years ago,
4 years ago, on a 6-month visit visa.
on a 6
So your 6-month visit visa is well expired.
has been expired.
Well expired.
Yes.
Okay.
The scam of coming into the UK as a tourist and staying on to work has given this man up to 4 years of illegal employment. If his colleague was hoping to pull off the same trick, he wasn't banking on meeting the enforcement team so soon.
And how long have you been in the UK?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks? Do you have permission to work?
I don't know.
How long have you been working here?
Today.
1 day.
For this Indian man found in the kitchen, an encounter with immigration while at work is nothing new.
Do you have a passport? Why don't you have a passport?
I am signature in your office, Ibrox.
You're reporting to immigration at the moment. Why are you reporting to our office? Have you been spoken to by immigration before?
Indian National Killamant Polo.
Killamant Polo Club. This gentleman here was actually encountered by myself on a previous visit to a restaurant on the opposite side of Glasgow about 8 weeks ago. He was then arrested at that point and served papers as an illegal entrant. Those papers would have told him he's not permitted to work, so here we found him yet again working illegally.
When the team arrested the worker last time, they could not find his passport and so were unable to remove him from Britain. All they could do was release him on bail.
The documentation that was issued to you when you were last encountered by immigration must have told you you were not allowed to work. You're not permitted to work.
I'm starting this morning.
You're starting this morning?
The men do not appear to be fazed by being caught working illegally, and this worker has a familiar tale to tell.
I'm arrest wee curry shop, Ashton.
Ashton. Oh, wee curry shop?
Wee curry shop.
Last week?
Before Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Okay.
Okay, how long have you been in the UK?
9-10 years.
9-10 years.
The man has also recently been arrested by the team, and he too was released on bail and told not to work.
How long have you been working here then?
Today.
Today? How much you get paid?
No pay.
If the man is not being paid, he must be working as a volunteer. It's certainly a story the owner wants to promote.
What's the point? Okay, so you don't pay him any money? No. What does it get? What does it get in return?
He only came in today. I haven't paid him any money yet.
Okay. No, that's fine, but would you be paying him any money if he was here tomorrow?
No, I wouldn't.
No. So what does he get in return for his employment?
He just says he's going to have a food, you know. That's
So he gets food basically, yeah?
But I wasn't paying him anyway. He wasn't employed.
Okay.
Okay, Harvey.
As the illegal worker arrested last week is already on bail, and the team still don't have the documents they need to remove him from the UK, all they can do is release him once again.
Shows how scared they are of us. Caught him last week.
Yeah.
We issue him a letter to the paper and say, look, you're not allowed to work, you're in the country legally.
Okay.
What does he do? He goes straight back out and get another job.
Okay. How long were you intending to work for? Months? Years? No. Until you get caught, or?
Here? No, 4 o'clock start today.
Yeah, and that's it? You were only going to work today?
Just today.
Don't believe you. No more working. Okay?
Yes.
Time for you to go. Kilo Mike, that's Parveen Kumar off the premises.
The man has now twice seen the consequence of getting caught working illegally. He knows that until the enforcement team get hold of his travel documents, it pays to exploit the system and to find another job.
Okay, you need to come this way, okay?
And to the frustration of the officers, the same goes for the other illegal worker already on bail. But the owner could be hit where it hurts with a potential fine so far of £20,000. Little wonder then that he claims the men were just visiting.
Okay, so did you employ Gurwant?
No.
Okay, so again, he was encountered in your kitchen dressed in Chef White.
Dressed out in white.
So
They probably wore the code, you know, because they might think I might get dirty or something like that. You know,
right,
they wasn't even employed.
okay, what's happened is if he's encountered on your premises and he's witnessed in your kitchen preparing food, he's working, will that be in return of food or in return of money? Okay?
Okay, off you go. Don't come back here. Okay? So you're not permitted to work. Okay? Off you go.
The men already on bail may be free to go, but the remaining 2 suspected illegal workers may not get off as lightly. If they are arrested and the team find their passports, they could be removed from the country within days.
That's where you live? Yeah.
500 miles away, the UK Border Agency and the police continue their investigation into the Sharma's fake visa business. After a dawn raid, Jatinder Sharma and his 2 wives are brought to Southall Police Station. Evidence found in their house suggests they're involved in manufacturing bogus certificates for visa applicants.
I think you're all aware that we were quite successful this morning. We've recovered approximately 50 to 100 stamps in all different sorts of identities and for all different sorts of companies, which tend to suggest the occupiers are involved in some sort of fraud or deception against the Home Office. And we've seized bank accounts which show that they're making money from their enterprises. I think some of the accounts have got 50,000, some have got £20,000 in them.
Jatinder, can you turn to your left, please, so you're facing that wall there?
The officers have plenty of questions to put to the suspects, but first they want to look for more evidence. team believe that crucial documents will be held at Univisas, the business Sharma runs with his wives Raki and Neelam.
We've just arrived at phase 2 of the operation. This is the business address of Univisas. This is where the 3 people who were arrested at the home address work. So we've got a search warrant to search this property. Again, looking for any items of documentation of interest, specifically immigration related.
On the surface, Univisas is a legitimate legal firm giving advice to overseas applicants for UK visas. The team suspect it is a front for a racket producing fake documents to help thousands of people stay in the UK illegally. It isn't long before they discovered just the sort of papers they're looking for.
I'm excited about that, mate.
Oh, yes. It looks as though these are applications for visas for Chinese nationals to come here and study English. That's what it appears to be, anyway. It's not something that a genuine student should need, any kind of immigration advisor. So why does this need to involve Univisas?
All very odd. The tissue of deceit continues.
In another room, there's more damning evidence with potentially alarming implications.
Another stamp for a company, obviously to legitimise fraudulent documents. As we found at the home address, you've got there's like fraudulent documentation for dentists and doctors, etc. If these people are successful, it does make you wonder: are these people working illegally in the medical industry? Are they looking after vulnerable people?
The apparent scale of Univisas' activities is even greater than the investigation team had suspected. And now, after a 3-hour trawl, the officers find evidence that leave little to the imagination. Sharma has emailed a supplier of fake educational documents on behalf of a client who wants to stay in the UK.
Fantastic, isn't it, Dave? Here we go. This is a little shopping list. We need a PG diploma for the following candidates.
Oh,
we need it ASAP.
He's not studied anywhere. He needs international graduate students, so we have to show some course.
That's fantastic.
That is the killer, isn't it? He's very fussy and wants some accredited UK quality. Oh, fantastic.
He's clearly paid a bit more money for that.
That's what we've been waiting for, isn't it?
Brilliant.
He's not studied anywhere. He's been in the UK for 3 years, but his leave is running out, so he needs to get onto the IGS, is the International Graduate Scheme, and this is a scheme supposedly to keep quality graduates in the UK. They can switch into employment, so we have to show some course. Might be a diploma in business administration from July 05 to October 6, and then the postgraduate diploma. So clearly that's a request for a certificate so that it matches in with a fictional study history. But in the first sentence there, hasn't studied anywhere, so it's a lie to facilitate the person's permission to stay in the country.
Combine that with the stamps that they've got next door and the stamps from the home address, I think he'll be serving a long time in prison, quite honestly.
At the Royal India restaurant, the enforcement team have had to release 2 known offenders already on bail. Now it's time to deal with the 2 other illegal workers.
Okay, car pal, through here. You're now under arrest, okay, as a suspected immigration offender. Don't have to say anything you do say may be noted, may be used in evidence. Do you understand? You're under arrest, okay?
This man is in the UK as a tourist and says he's been here 2 weeks.
Yeah, he claims he came here with a visit visa just for a holiday, but he's now working. All his friends, families, relatives have probably been doing it, telling him, come to Britain, you know, and you can earn some good money. So they'll know how the system works. He's been doing it for years.
And the owner should know he can't employ a holiday maker from India, even if the man does just turn up at the door and offer to help.
So he came up to the back door, just wandered up to the back door and said, I've got a tourist visa, and that was it.
Well, he says, walked in and he says, can we help you out and all that, you know. I said, well, have you got other documents?
Mm-hmm.
You know, can you work and all that, you know. He said, I'll bring that tomorrow, like, you know.
Okay. Pay him any money?
No, I mean, like I say, it's only came in a couple hours ago, like, you know.
Right, Sharon, come this way, okay? Okay, you've been arrested, okay, because you on suspicion of being an immigration offender.
The owner also denies employing the waiter who has overstayed his tourist visa by more than 3 years.
Okay, this way, sir. We're going this way, but you're going to do what we tell you to do, okay? Because what you must understand now is you're arrested.
Okay, no
Okay,
worries, sir.
right.
Sorry about that.
Relax, okay?
The team have found 4 illegal immigrants at the restaurant. They do not believe the owner's excuses and serve him notice that he could be fined up to £40,000.
4 males have been named on this, okay? None of them have permission to work in the UK. I understand you say they're not getting paid money, but any kind of employment, whether it be paid or unpaid, is still classed as working, and it's still illegal if they've got no permission to do so, okay?
Of all the employees found at the restaurant, only one is entitled to work. He has indefinite leave to remain in the UK.
So many restaurants employ illegals, you know. And the thing is, you've got your status now.
Yeah,
There's lots of people who have their status, but they can't find work.
Really?
And it's hard for them. So that's what we're trying to do, protect the local population, people who are, you're entitled to work here. And there's other people like you who can't get a job. Okay, good luck then.
Thank you very much.
You understand what we're doing?
Goodbye.
The team don't want to have to release on bail the 2 men they've arrested today, but in order to detain and remove them from the country, the officers must find their passports.
If we don't have a passport for him, we cannot remove him. We have to apply to Indian embassy to try and get a travel document, which can take up to 6 months. We can't detain him for 6 months. So we release him, and what does he do? He goes straight back to work again.
The holidaymaker is cooperative and has given an address where he's staying with relatives.
Hi there, how you doing? From Immigration Service. Can we come in and have a quick word with you?
Yes.
Thanks, all right.
Thank you.
But the waiter is being less helpful. He claims to have lost his passport and he can't remember his own date of birth.
Why can't you remember your birthday?
Sorry?
Why can't you remember your own birthday?
Sorry, I don't know.
Are you telling me the truth?
Really, I'm telling you the truth. I can't remember it.
You said something about a date of birth on your passport. What do you mean by that? Why are you trying to remember the date of birth on your passport and not your own date of birth?
I can't remember. Sorry.
The man knows the less information he gives, the harder it is to remove him from the country. He has given an address where he claims to live, but he says he's never been given any keys.
This male has turned up for his first day of work today, wearing the clothes that we encountered him in, with only a mobile phone in his possession and the bus fare to get him to work this morning. Had no other possessions at the restaurant.
It's a common ruse. Illegal immigrants know that if they're arrested at work, officers won't have the warrant to forcibly enter and search their home for a passport.
There's nothing up here. All these sort of flats are owned by the owners of the restaurants and they'll move the staff around. I've searched houses like this before where I've seen one bloke who's been actually living in a cupboard. But the reason why it's so transient is because they move from restaurant to restaurant, usually depending on whether they've been raided by immigration.
The team searching for travel documents for the holidaymaker have had more luck.
We've got a passport for the subject, which makes a big difference to us. Chances are we'll be keeping a hold of him and removing him back to India.
The passport reveals the man was twice refused a tourist visa to the UK. Having finally got one, he's been found working illegally after only 5 days in the country. The waiter's evasive tactics have paid off. All the team can do after questioning him is release him on bail until they have the papers needed to remove him from the country.
And that's why so many want to come here, because they know in Britain, they know how the system works. And, you know, it's not a good advert to deter people who aren't British not to come here, you know.
Okay, Carpal, watch out.
The holidaymaker is detained for 6 days before being removed back to India. For employing 4 illegal workers, the owner of the Royal India restaurant is fined £20,000. Coming up, the passenger at Heathrow with something to declare.
I have to follow the rules.
Yes, you have followed the rules, but the college has given me a receipt to me.
And a setback for the team going after the Sharmas missing millions.
30k, yeah, remitted by Neelam to India while they were in custody.
That's not good.
Most of the 70,000 people who arrive each day at Heathrow have a perfectly good reason to come to Britain, whether it's business, pleasure, or simply coming home. But some people are trying to get in and stay in the country illegally. Officer Lisa Lee is one of Heathrow's 1,700 UK border agency staff. Today, she stopped a student returning to Britain after spending 5 months back home in Pakistan.
Mr. Qureshi, you come with me. I have your ticket passport here, okay, sir? All right?
He says he's here to take exams, but a quick call to his college throws his story into doubt. They say he's never attended at all. Officer Lee wants to search the passengers' bags as they might reveal what he's up to in the UK.
So how much is here?
2,080 pounds.
£2,080.
Yeah.
So you have a job here?
Yeah, I have a job there.
What were you doing here, sir?
Minicab office is a controller.
Controller in a minicab office.
Yeah.
As a student, the man is allowed to work, as long as it's only part-time. He's adamant his main reason for being here is to study. The only problem is, to be a genuine student, you need a genuine college.
I go to in my college in every day, but they are not studying him. They are only cashing the price. Please give me a gesture. It's my future.
Okay, so yeah. Well, we'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment, your future, yeah?
Yeah. I'm a very hard worker student.
So I know you're anxious, I know you're nervous, but you need to wait for me, all right?
Please give me a gesture.
If you follow me. He's very nervous. He's almost pleading with me to let him in.
Give me a gesture. Please give me a gesture.
So as I said to you, I will talk to you in a moment, okay? He said a few things about his studies. I'm going every day, but they are not teaching or something. So I need to try and work out what he means. But he's clearly very worried. He actually asked me if I was going to deport him. And I said, well, I don't know what will happen yet. Just, bear with me and answer my questions.
The passenger is desperate to be heard. He wants Officer Lee to investigate his college.
Please give me justice. I am a real student. I am
Sir,
a hard worker.
Sir,
Yeah.
justice is a big word, all right? So you have to bear in mind that I have to follow the rules.
Yes, you have followed the rules, but the college has given me a deceit to me.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it? He's claiming that the college is bogus in that he was attending when he was meant to attend and they were not running classes. Now, they've said to us immediately, we rang them, he's never attended. The problem he's got is he stayed here for 6 months without doing any, appearing to do nothing, and is now saying he's coming back to find another college. So either he's not being completely honest or the college is fibbing.
Officer Lee must find out who is telling the truth. It seems the college is sticking to its guns, backing up its claims in writing.
What I have here is a fax from the college which says that he enrolled on a 12-month course for an advanced diploma in business admin, which should have commenced last March 2008. They claim to have written to him concerning his poor attendance, but they never received any response, and so they've removed him from their register, which essentially means he has no place to study. So now we need to get to the bottom of his allegations as well. Mr. Qureshi?
And to make sure his allegations are understood, the passenger has asked for an interpreter.
How long did you attend the college for?
On and off jata raha us college.
For 6 months I went on and off.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't teach anything there.
Fees le li thi.
And they took my tuition fees off me.
How much did you pay them?
£1,600.
£1,600.
Okay. We spoke to your college and they gave us this.
उन्होंने ये फैक्स भेजा था, ठीक है? मैं पढ़ के बताऊं?
हाँ. तो मैं इनके कॉलेज जाता या पढ़ाई नहीं होती.
He said, I'm saying to you, you investigate this college.
और मैंने इनका कोई लेटर रिसीव नहीं किया.
There are absolutely no classes that go on, and I haven't received any letter from them.
Okay, the difficulty I have is that you were here for 6 months and you did nothing about this college.
ख़त्म ही ना करा दे.
They had my money.
और ये मुझसे ज़्यादा पैसे और मांग रहे थे.
And they were asking me for more money. I didn't have any further access to any funds, and I was afraid that they were going to report me to the Home Office and remove me.
When you arrived today, you told me that you were coming back to continue your studies and that you would take exams in March. Why would you say that if you're not going to attend that college?
Study करूँगा ये मुझे ना रोकें.
Eventually, I would have enrolled at a different college, but in the meantime, I didn't want to be stopped by immigration.
So you lied?
हाँ जी मैम.
Yes, I did.
So you sought to secure your entry to the UK by employing deception?
करता और मैं क्या
I had no money, I had no other way.
सारी लाइफ मेहनत पे गुजरी है.
I've always worked hard.
मेरे फादर किडनी के ट्रांसप्लांट पेशेंट हैं.
My father's a kidney transplant patient.
और my mother is old.
And my mother is old.
मैं उनका अकेला बेटा हूँ.
I'm their only son.
मेरे बाप को हार्ट अटैक हो जाएगा.
He goes, in any sense, I'm not going to go back because my father will have an heart attack.
क्योंकि मुझे वो बर्बाद मत करें, मेहरबानी करें.
He's saying, don't ruin me, help me.
If the passenger is to avoid being sent back home, he needs Officer Lee to believe his allegations
Follow me.
and to accept that he's here to find a new college. Jatinder Sharma and his wives, Neelam and Raki, have been in custody for the last 6 months awaiting trial. They are accused of submitting fraudulent visa applications on behalf of foreign nationals hoping to work in Britain. DC Cornwell and his team have sifted through 90,000 seized documents and have unearthed the biggest immigration scam ever seen in this country. Sharma and his wives forged papers to secure visas for more than 1,000 people through their company, Univisas.
Univisas have generated income tax return forms, they've generated education forms, and they've also generated pay slips and employment records.
And there's proof the rubber stamps found at the Univisa's office have been used to endorse the bogus documents.
So that's the stamp, Office of the Joint Income Tax Officer, which is this stamp here. Now our scientists have studied that impression and the stamp, and they've concluded that there is no doubt the stamp has made that impression.
Univisas charged would-be foreign workers up to £4,000 a time for fake documents to back up their applications. The police believe the company may have raked in more than £3 million, most of it still unaccounted for. It's down to DC Andy Cornwell and DC Simon Prothero-Jones to track down the missing money. Today they are at court where Sharma, Raki and Neelam are due for a plea hearing. All three have already pleaded not guilty, but they have good reason to change their minds.
The judge has made it clear that today is the last day that a discounted sentence is on offer, and without a doubt for all the defendants, any discount which they get from an early plea is going to be substantial. We are talking years off their sentence. As a result of that, things are getting fairly heated in there between the defence teams and the prosecutor. It is very fraught, but there's a lot at stake.
Raki and Neelam stick with their pleas of not guilty, but Jatinder Sharma tries to strike a deal with the prosecution. He's willing to plead guilty on one condition.
He was prepared to plead guilty provided we excluded his house in Southall from any sort of cash confiscation. That kind of set us thinking, really. Why is he so concerned about his house? It led us to sort of muse that perhaps there's a load of cash stored somewhere in that house, which is why he doesn't want the house the subject of any confiscation. And the hoodie bar, the enforcer.
The only way to find out is to go back to Sharma's house to take a closer look.
And it would appear that their business over the 18 months it was running has turned over probably £3 million. Now if you look at that and we say maybe £1 million of that has gone in expenditure over the 18 months, we've frozen assets in their bank accounts of 400,000, so that leaves us short 1.6 million.
We've got a warrant to search the address, okay?
The reason we're back at the home address today pretty much is that we're looking for anything which could have been missed. It could be as simple as a big pile of money underneath the floorboards. It could be bank documents relating to an account which we didn't know, a
accounts, shares, stocks in somebody else's name, anything which is going to lead us to the outstanding funds. I still think there's a lot more money in this house somewhere, so we're going to go back in, lift floorboards if we have to, go up into the loft, lift the insulation, just absolutely every nook and cranny. You've got to look around at the house around us. It's a state. Here's a man that had hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank. This one house, with a very limited amount of equity in, is what he's desperate to keep hold of. Why is he so desperate to keep hold of a house which is literally filthy and falling down?
You know, I mean...
Ripping out floorboards and insulation doesn't reveal the cash the team are looking for.
Oh, oxygen, fresh air.
I don't know about...
But opening post addressed to Neelam unearths bank accounts the team didn't know about.
Punjab National Bank. We found a bank account in the name of Neelam. This account, which we weren't aware of up until now, contains just over £20,000. So that's of interest. And again, there's another 40, 50, 60,000 pounds at least. So she alone has the best part of £250,000 in her bank accounts.
The arrest of Neelam does not appear to have stopped large sums of money being moved between her accounts.
30k, remitted by Neelam to India. So that explains where another 30,000, well, 30,000 on this one statement.
Transferred into another of her bank accounts, or?
Yeah, interesting though. The last one was on the 17th of the 12th, 08.
17th of the 12th?
Yeah.
While they're in custody?
While they were in custody.
That's not good.
Even though Neelam has been in prison awaiting trial, some of the illegally gained money in her accounts has been squirreled away in Indian banks. But there is still over £1 million missing.
This search here has been worth its weight in gold, literally to us. We immediately traced tens and tens of thousands of pounds. I suspect once I take all this paperwork away with me, sit down at a desk and go through it in a lot more detail, it may well help me trace hundreds of thousands of pounds, and that's getting towards the sort of figures that we're looking for.
We've had a fantastic result, really. I'm pleased. Jatinder's pleaded to absolutely everything. I know he's guilty. He knows he's guilty. He's finally done a decent thing and admitted it.
There is a real sense of satisfaction of actually seeing Jatinder stand in the dock in the court and finally admit his guilt. You know, he has done all of this stuff wrong. He's lived a good life out of it. He's made an enormous amount of money.
Hugely satisfying, but still a lot of work to do.
The officers still have the painstaking job of preparing for a trial. It will be for a jury to decide whether Raki and Neelam helped Sharma to perpetrate Britain's biggest visa scam. Coming up, things get desperate for the Pakistani student at Heathrow.
Please help me.
I can't do anything, sir, okay? The rules are there for a reason.
And the verdict is in for the Sharmas. At Heathrow, the Pakistani student is waiting to hear if he can come into Britain. At first, he said he was here to take exams. Now he's accused his college of being bogus and claims his intention is to find a new college. Officer Lee refers the case to Chief Immigration Officer Sarah Dyson.
He can't explain why in the 6 months that he was here before going to Pakistan, he has made no serious attempt to re-enroll or to find another college.
Well, I mean, I think just by doing that impacts on his credibility, doesn't it? And whilst he says, no, this college are just taking money off me, they've never provided me with any lessons, I don't think that's a good enough argument.
No.
And that shows that he's not a genuine student who's committed to studying in the UK. And also he lied. As soon as he got to the desk out there, he gave a complete rubbish story,
Just
didn't
to secure
he?
his entry.
To secure his entry. So you have to question his intentions, don't you?
Hey, sir, I need to have a chat with you, okay? Come with me. Okay, my Chief Immigration Officer has decided that we are going to cancel your visa. This is because we're not satisfied that you have been making any attempt to study in the UK. And that you lied when you came to the desk on arrival, yeah?
मेरे साथ पहले धोखा हुआ है.
He goes, I've been deceived before.
मैं घर गया हूँ इसी के लिए.
That's why I went home.
उधर से पैसे ले हूँ फिर घर चला गया.
He goes, if there's any studying going at that college.
I am going to write a report. From the information you've given me, I will make sure that is passed on to our college, the people that look at colleges, okay? So they will be looked into, I can promise you that. Yeah?
Please help me.
I can't do anything, sir, okay? The rules are there for a reason. I can't just permit you to come into the UK as a student because you're not a student. You never have been. You must understand the reason why we have to enforce the rules.
It's hard to say whether he's been a victim or not, from the fact that he maintained throughout the interview that he'd paid money in good faith and had not received what he'd paid for, that he may well have been a victim. The minute we then contact the college concerned, it could be that they didn't want us investigating them, so they've denied all knowledge of him. Who's to say who's telling the truth and who isn't? It's just the bare facts are that he didn't study when he was given a visa to study. That's why it's been cancelled.
The passenger was detained overnight and put on a flight back to Pakistan the next day. Officer Lee handed the information about the suspected bogus college over to colleagues in the investigation team. It's been more than a year since the UK Border Agency and police raided the offices of Univisas and discovered fraud against the Home Office on a massive scale. Company boss Jatinder Sharma has already pleaded guilty.
Well, Alice, one of the many striking things about this case is the arrogance of the man who ran the scam. He was so confident he could get you into this country illegally. He offered clients a no-win, no-fee option.
Today, after a 4-week trial, the jury is expected to deliver their verdict on Sharma's wives, Neelam and Raki.
Raki, she's offered a number of defences. You know, if one fails, we'll try the other. If that fails, we'll try the other. First of all, I didn't know anything about anything. But then, if I did know, or if the jury believe I did know about it, then I'm going to offer a defence of marital coercion. Neelam's defence is just, at the time, I wasn't aware of any wrongdoing. If it happened, and she has kind of accepted it did happen, then it's down to Raki and Jatinder.
It's for the jury to decide if they're telling the truth. By gambling on a trial, the women risk receiving tougher sentences if found guilty. It takes 4 days of deliberation before the jury reaches a majority decision.
We've had a brilliant result today. We've now had all verdicts returned on Raki and Neelam. Neelam was convicted on the money laundering charge. Raki was convicted on everything, all of the charges against her. We've just come out of court. Jatinder's been in the dock with them, and all 3 have been sentenced.
The jury accepts that Neelam was not behind the fraud, but she is sentenced to 4 years in prison for laundering some of the £3 million that poured into Univisas. Raki conspired with Sharma to defraud the Home Office by submitting bogus visa applications. She is sentenced to 8 years in prison. Jatinder Sharma is given credit for his early plea and is sentenced to 7 years. Thanks to their criminal activity, there could be thousands of people in the UK who are not entitled to be here.
Univisas is obviously an immigration consultancy. There are hundreds of those operating throughout the capital and throughout the country, and a lot of those will be running similar sort of scams. So what we've really dealt with over the last 12, 13 months is, I believe, the tip of the iceberg.
It's been a long and complex investigation, but it's not over yet. There's still the missing money to track down and seize. As for Jatinder Sharma and his 2 wives, they'll be deported to India after they've served their sentences.